All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to PCR's April Virtual Transition Times. My name is Melissa Wyman, and I am PCR's Respite Care and Community Engagement Director. I will be your moderator this evening, so please feel free to send any questions or comments in the chat box below. We are delighted to offer this presentation with American Sign Language simultaneous interpretation. We will also be offering this presentation with Spanish simultaneous interpretation. To access the channel in Spanish, click Interpretation in the meeting controls and select the Spanish channel. Participants in a language channel will hear the translated audio and also the original audio at a lower volume. To hear the interpreted language only, click Mute Original Audio. The English and Spanish language versions will be archived on the PCR website Transition Times page. Please share the recording and upcoming Transition Times programs with your friends and others in the community. It is very important to continue to spread the word about Transition Times so we can continue to better serve our community. Just some Zoom tip reminders. We are using the webinar platform. We will wait for questions at the end of the presentation, but feel free to submit any of your questions in the chat box below. Click Show Captions to see the captions for the webinar. You must select the speaking language you would like to show. We are very fortunate tonight to have Denise Israel, Program Specialist 2, Enhanced Mobility and Customer Relations Section from the Division of Transit Services, Department of Transportation. Denise?
Hi, good evening. I'm happy to be with you this evening. We're going to explore some transportation options available in Montgomery County for older adults and also for persons with disabilities. So with that, we'll start the presentation. We can go to our page 2, which is an overview of the programs that we'll be discussing tonight. The first program will be Medicaid transportation. We will then go to Call and Ride, which is a part of the same day access is actually a part of the Call and Ride program. We will discuss those separately. Also Metro Access, which is WMATA's program. I'd like to give you information on that, as well as Montgomery County's Ride On program. And then I have some other transportation options I'll make you aware of. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, Medicaid transportation. Medicaid transportation is a state-supported program, and all the counties in Maryland do have the Medicaid transportation program. And it's a grant program that we run for the state, and we are under all of the grant rules and regulations. It does assure that services are met for non-emergency transportation to Medicaid assistance recipients. And this is a little bit about the eligibility we have here. You need to be a Maryland Medicaid recipient. You should also be a Montgomery County resident. Medical services covered by Medicaid. So we would only be able to help you if the service is covered by Medicaid. The service provider is a Medicaid assistance participant, and requested transportation is not covered by any other service or other program or prohibited by regulation. You should have a medically certified disability that prevents you from utilizing fixed route transportation, and the applicant should have no access to fixed route transportation. So there are counties like Poolesville, Boyd's, Dickerson, Damascus, who can participate in Medicaid transportation without having a medically certified disability because they don't have access to fixed route transportation. The applicants also should have no other means of transportation to access their medical appointments. And that is verified usually by we check the MBA to see if there are vehicles registered to the family or the home. However, there are exceptions, like if you're not able to drive due to a medical or physical disability at the time, they do make an exception for that. The way you apply, okay, so you contact the Montgomery County Medicaid Transportation Office to get the packet, but you can also get it online. And our email address is there as well as our web address. The operation is open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And there is no fee associated with Medicaid transportation. what happens is you actually book your appointments on the number here, the 777-5890 number, and you're assigned a taxi company to take you to and from your medical appointments. And you can book your appointments up to 7 days in advance, but it has to be done by noon at least the day before in order to get an appointment. And we have many, many clients who use this for multiple times a week for dialysis and for treatment programs, as well as people with chronic illnesses that are seen frequently by their doctors. You do have to fill out the forms, though. The application requires that a provider certify, Medicaid health provider, sign your application. And you can mail or email it along with a notice of privacy practice and a notice of for release of authorization forms, as well as proof of residency in Montgomery County. And that it's just like a utility bill or an ID, like a non-driver or driver's ID, or a lease for your Montgomery County address. And you're notified at least 20 days, within 20 days of the date that the application packet is received. I'm sorry, next screen, please. I'm on 5, actually. I gotta move ahead a little here. Thank you. I'm on actually screen 5. Thank you. So a little bit about the screening. So the screening process is used to determine eligibility, and that's what the state is requires us to do, to make sure we have the most cost-efficient mode of transportation for the client or recipient. And we do have wheelchair van transportation through some of the taxi companies, but also through van providers, as well as ambulance service and regular taxi service. Okay, so the applications are routinely screened and the documentation may be required to make sure we have the best transportation mode for you to travel to your medical appointments. And again, I wanted to stress that Medicaid transportation is only for medical appointments. Also, some of the screening tools that we use are, there's a questionnaire. Basically, it asks you if you have any other means of transportation other than what we would provide, and if you have transportation in the home, things of that nature. And also there's an electronic verification that's done through to make sure your Medicaid number is eligible for the transportation services, and that's done through a state system, a state eligibility verification system. We do MBA verifications, and we also do trip verifications, and those are spot verifications just to call and check and confirm that the doctor we've given you the trip with is a Medicaid provider, and just to verify the appointment date and time. And those are random checks. And that's pretty much the Medicaid transportation program. It is used by many, many residents in Montgomery County. And as I said, we have many people who use it quite often, like several times a week, to get back and forth to their medical appointments. So I guess I can move on to slide number 6, which is Call and Ride. Call and Ride is a discounted taxi service that's provided by Montgomery County. And it's a very popular service. We have 5,000, I think 422 when I looked today, residents of Montgomery County that use the Call and Ride service. It is a discounted on-demand taxi program. It's aimed to improve the mobility for adults 63 years and older, and also for persons with disabilities 18 years and older. The travel can be for any purpose within Montgomery County. So unlike Medicaid transportation, you can go anywhere in the county for any reason pretty much. But you cannot go out of the county except for medical reasons. With medical reasons, you can book trips out of the county, but they have to go through the Call and Ride office. You have to actually call and make an advance appointment for those. It is a discounted range. You get normally a $120 value that's put on a county swipe card. And the swipe card is accepted by all the taxi companies in Montgomery County. They're regulated, they're all required to accept the swipe card. So the discounted range can be from 50% to 91%. On the really lower income range, you would pay about $5.25 and you get $120 worth of taxi rides per month. And you can accumulate those up to $360 after 3 months. And use them at your discretion. And sometimes people do that because some people have appointments like to Baltimore, to Johns Hopkins or somewhere like that, which can get a little costly. And let's see, that office is open from 8:30 to 4:30. And that application is online on the website that's provided there. That application's online. If you're under 63, it does also require a doctor's certification form, just to check off the disability, something of that nature. But we have quite a few participants with disabilities who are on the Call and Ride program. And another program that's underneath of the Call and Ride program is the Same Day Access program. Same Day Access is part of Call and Ride, and it's does not have the income factor to qualify that Call and Ride has. And one thing I want to back up a little bit, when I talk about Call and Ride, I want to say that the maximum income, just to give you an example, for a one individual household, which is only one person living in the home, the maximum income to qualify for the program is $44,000. That's the high end of the scale for Call and Ride. So back to Same Day Access. Same Day Access takes away that income requirement. So anyone who has Metro Access ID card from WMATA is eligible for Same Day Access. And that also provides the same subsidized taxi service that Call and Ride provides. You get, the Call and Ride swipe card. You have to provide them. Only thing you have to provide is proof of your address, that you're living in Montgomery County, proof of residence, and your Same Day Access card, copy of that to qualify for that program. So participants on that program, though, get $60 worth of taxi rides, and they get a 50% subsidy. So they're paying $30 for $60 worth of rides. And that is also, unlike with Metro Access, you have to be scheduled at least one day in advance. But with Same Day Access, it's the same as scheduling any taxi ride. You can schedule it, like within an hour of your trip, or even in advance if you actually want to. But it just gives you some flexibility with that. And a lot of clients also use that, when they, in lieu of using the Metro Access, or they balance the two programs together to get the maximum benefit. And that's all I have on the Call and Ride program. We can actually go to slide number 7, which kind of dovetails. This is a Metro Access program. This is what you'd have to have the Same Day Access. This is not a Montgomery County program, but we definitely discuss it with all of our residents because it's very widely used, and a lot of people are eligible for Metro Access. So WMATA does do the Same Day Access. They're the ones that handle this program, who facilitate it. It's a door-to-door paratransit service for eligible customers with disabilities that can prevent them from using the bus or the rail services that WMATA offers. The Metro Access provides trips within the metropolitan transit zone that include the District of Columbia, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Arlington, Fairfax, and Loudoun counties, and the cities of Alexandria, Fairfax, Falls Church, which are in Virginia. The services are offered during the same service areas not and operations of the Metro Bus, Metro Rail, and locally operated transit services. So in other words, if there is transit locally operated service there, Metro access will be provided. It has to be within the service area. The maximum fare is now capped at $4 per trip, and that happened not that long ago. It was a little more expensive, I think $6.50, but now they did cap it at $4 per trip. Um, you have to schedule in advance, so no later than 4:30 the day before the trip. And conditionally certified Metro Access users also can ride free on Metro Rail, Metro Bus, and our ride on buses. And if you have a Metro Access certification, you can ride free on those other modes of transportation. So applying for Metro Access does require certification and a medical information form, and it has to be in person. And this is a number you can call for that. I can tell you that if you don't have transportation, it's in DC. They will. You can arrange also on this number to get a ride to get your certification done with Metro Access. They have an alternative program, which is Abilities Ride. And what that is actually they've moved some of their trips to local taxi companies, sedan and van companies, and national transportation networks like Uber and Lyft. But they do that at their discretion. And you're told when you book your Metro Access trip with them whether or not you will be moved to Abilities Ride. And that's just to offset some of their traffic. Thank you. We can go to slide number 8. Still with WMATA, want to discuss the reduced fare card for customers with disabilities under age 65. So you can get a reduced photo ID card to travel at a reduced fare rate. And the way you get that card is you need a valid government issued photo ID card. You also need an original reduced fare application for people with disabilities, which is on the WMATA website. All their forms are on their websites. And also, and as it says, it's in English and Spanish. It has to be signed by a licensed medical professional within 60 days of the application. Medicare cards for individuals under 65. Yeah, you need that also. And a veteran's disability certification letter with 60% or greater disability letter that's issued by the Veterans Affairs Office, that you can also use that. Audiogram within the last 5 years it can be used for those who need that, who need to use the hearing aids or help with that. And a group of 10 or more are scheduled to schedule appointments for off-site photo ID sessions with a travel training. I could tell you a little bit about that. WMATA does do a travel training program, which is a really good program. And we do partner with them. I have on many occasions to do travel training. We've done it at some of the schools. And what they do is they actually go into the school and offer the reduced fare card. They do through the administration of the school administrators, and they get those printed. And then once all that is ready to be distributed, they usually schedule a travel training with the students. And we provide a ride on bus, and they go over the driver ride on bus, and the ride on representative. We go over accessibility for the bus and the features of the bus, and take them on the bus ride, a short bus ride to a metro station. And from there, the WMATA representative will take them for a ride on the rail, and then have someone at the station manager explains the fare cards and everything of that nature. And from that, they go back to the schools. Sometimes they do a lunch break, but then after that, they go back to the school on a actual metro bus. And those are very popular, and we've done quite a few of those in Montgomery County. So to get the reduced fare card, you do have to appear in person. And these are the following locations. You can go to the Transit Accessibility Center, which is in DC on Virginia Avenue, or you can go to the Trips Commuter Store, which is on Colesville Road in Silver Spring, Maryland. And the hours and days information is here on the on the screen. So I always talk, I'm going to slide number 9. I already did talk about Ramada travel training, but I did want to just go over a little more to say that they do have 4 full-time professionals, and they have various skill levels. They have sign, and some are Spanish speaking, and you can schedule these in advance. And they also do it with seniors. And just as another note, JCA, Jewish Council for the Aging, also does a travel training for us. And JCA is one of the organizations that Montgomery County contracts with to help us with transportation information, get it out there to our residents. So they also offer travel training. And JCA, they strictly do it for adults, seniors, but they pretty much do the same thing. They have a classroom setting, and then they do the senior smart trip cards. They'll give them senior smart trip cards and take them on a trip, a bus, and a metro. Usually it's a ride on bus and also a rail trip. And they have a schedule at JCA when they do these. They're actually doing some now and have some coming up in May and June. Metro Ready is a short-term comprehensive intensive instruction designed to teach customers how to travel safely and independently on accessible Metro bus and Metro rail public transportation. And as I said, it's really a very good program that Metro's been doing for a while, Ramada's been doing for a while. And they have some really good professionals who've been with the program for quite a few years. Okay, and we can move on to slide number 10, which talks about Montgomery County's Ride on Bus. Ride free. Older adults and people with disabilities ride free on Ride on Metro Bus, and these are the Metro Bus routes. These are the Metro buses that are within Montgomery County. These are also free, and all of the Ride on buses are free all day, every day. There used to be some stipulations where you couldn't ride on the late and during rush hours, and also during the weekends. But after the COVID situation, they changed all that, and they changed it for that, and then they left it as it is. So everyone rides free all the time if you're a senior or a person that has a disability. So the older adults must be 65 or older. They can have to have a valid senior smart trip card, and smart trip cards used to be $2, but just recently WMATA changed that to make them free. The senior smart trip cards can be obtained at any public library in Montgomery County, and then at the trip store, and also at one of our finance buildings in Rockville. It's all on and that information is on the website. So, and those with disabilities that have the reduced fare card also ride free. So you do have to tap that on the fare box. They're keeping track of that. It doesn't deduct any fare from the card. And the buses are accessible to people with disabilities. They have ramps, and they can lower to the curb to make it easy for people to get on and off of the bus. And all of our bus schedules you can get by calling 202-637-7000 if you want a paper schedule, but all the schedules are on 311. And we also, if you look at our webpage, we also have 2 different apps that you can use to check the schedules. We have one that rolled out recently, which will tell you basically, when the next bus is coming, how full the bus is, if you need to change to a bus that has less riders and things of that nature. So that's what we're riding. We're really working, trying to improve our communication and get the word out that people do get the free transportation if they have a disability or if they're over a senior over 65. I can go to slide number 11. Thank you. Connect a Ride. Connect a Ride is run by Jewish Council for the Aging, and it is an information and referral service. What they do is they have information for adults and adults with or adults over 50 and adults with disabilities about all the transportation options, and they have information about all the public, private, volunteer transportations resources. They also include an escorted transportation. And escorted transportation is a service that's available to adults who qualify based on income and have disabilities. And they contribute to the cost of the service based on their income. But when they say escorted, that means that they will actually go with you, let's say to an appointment. They will wait and take you back. So they're there as an escort. And Montgomery County funds that program through Jewish Council of the Aging. Also, they're really good with assisting callers with their applications for transportation programs. So if you want to apply for the Call and Ride program or the Metro Access program, the Connect a Ride information service will help you complete that application. Those are all of the services I have on my PowerPoint, but I did want to bring up one other service I wanted to mention. And what that service is the Senior Connection, which is a volunteer transportation service. And they provide, they're very well vetted, and they provide a really good service in Montgomery County. They give free escorted transportation to older adults over 60. So for people who need escorted services, they're great for people going for appointments where they have to have an escort in order to leave that appointment. And so they have a big network of volunteers. They've gotten several national awards, and they're also they will give you, once you do your application with them, you are eligible for 6 rides per month. And there's no qualifications other than age. You have to be over 60. And they are very, very flexible, we've found, with helping our residents. So I wanted to mention escorted transportation. And those are all the services I have to discuss tonight. I'll be more than happy to entertain any questions anyone has on our services.
Okay, so we do have some questions.
Okay, sure.
So, all right, I'm also going to go back and put, the number, especially for the Medicaid transportation,
Sure.
how to apply and all that
Sure.
information. So that is, slide 4. Also, I want to, verify that I did send out the PowerPoint. So all of this should have been received by the attendees. So for any reason, if you did not receive it, just let me know and I can email it to you. And it also will be archived on our website. So you can have access to that. Okay, so the first question, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just wanted to interject. The explore your transportation options sheets are very helpful because it just gives a little overview of each service. So I hope you did you get those in my I hope I got those to you.
Yes, and I sent them
Okay.
as well.
Okay, great, because they're great. They'll give you the as well as the telephone numbers and the websites for all the services and just a little description of the services.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to, let me start my video again, and then we can get to the questions. Okay, perfect. So, real quick, let me add spelling. Okay, so the first question we have is saying about Metro Access isn't always reliable. We scheduled them twice last week and they didn't show up either time. We've scheduled them before and they drove our son all around the county before they finally dropped him at his destination. A 20-minute trip took 2 hours. So is there a way to try to prevent this from happening, or something they can do?
Metro Access is a shared service. As I said, it's not run by Montgomery County. I did want to discuss it because I know a lot of people use Metro Access. It's run by WMATA, Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Association. It is a shared service, and it does take time. I know this. Um, I would say we'd have to appeal directly to WMATA about with any issues regarding Metro Access. I would, I'm not sure the circumstance, but I think I would, give them a call for whoever had that experience and see if you can get someone to review it and give you an explanation of what happened under for that circumstance.
All right.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's not one of our services, but we do discuss it with our transportation options because it is a valuable service for a lot of residents.
Okay.
Mhm.
So our next question was, I was told at the Transit Accessibility Center office that you can have both a WMATA reduced fare card and a Metro Access card. We were also told by that office that if you have a Metro Access card, you cannot take the Metro or bus at a reduced rate, but instead must take the door-to-door transit option only. Is this true?
You can, I can tell you that you can use the Metro Access card for a reduced bus fare in Montgomery County for the ride on bus. If you show a Metro Access card, the driver will not charge you a fare in Montgomery County. I can tell you that. And if you'd like to contact me, directly, or if I can investigate that information for you, I'd be glad to do that. And you can put my number. My number is
Yeah,
I'm on.
do you mind putting it in the chat or?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, great.
Okay, we can
And
do
then
that.
I just wanted to also say there is, Jane did share that there is a Metro Access has a complaint line and she put the number on
I
uh,
saw that.
the
Yes.
chat.
Mhm.
Okay, then our next question is, do any of these services support families or caregivers of minor children with disabilities?
The minor children, the only service that actually supports that is Metro Access. Anyone over the age of 5 can use Metro Access. That's the others are, you have to be an adult, 18, but Metro Access, oh, I'm sorry, Medicaid transportation, excuse me. Medicaid transportation also. There's no age limit on Medicaid transportation because we have many babies and young parents from, parents at Children's Hospital that use Medicaid transportation. So yes, Medicaid transportation, and the other would be Metro Access. Those would be the two.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Let's see. Does anybody else have, those were the 3 questions. Does anybody have a question? We can also too, if anybody personally wants to ask a question, I can have you speak and you can raise your hand. But this is the time to ask questions if you have them. And we have Denise with us. All right, Sharon. So I'm gonna go, hold on 1 second. It's gonna take me a second.
Hi, can you hear
Hi,
me?
Sharon.
I had a question about call and ride.
Sure.
My son has a Metro Access card, but I was wondering if we could use call and ride on a daily basis to get him to work. Or is there a monthly limit on how many call and rides you can do?
With call and ride, you do, as I said, you get $120 usually subsidy per month. So it's difficult to do something every day with call and ride because usually it's not, it won't cover the expense. As I said, some people come in and bank it, like, they might have like 3 months in, which is $360 on the card, but it just depends on how often you travel, how far you travel, and what intervals you travel in. But it is $120. So if you're using it daily and use up the 120, that's all you have, then you are not going to be able to use it again until the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month. Depends on which day your funds are given.
Okay, and I had a follow-up question on the escorted transportation. If you use escorted transportation, is that only for like medical appointments, or can you use it for other things? And how long will the escort wait for you?
It's escorted transportation that through Jewish Council for the Aging. You don't only have to, it doesn't have only have to be medical appointments, no. And I would have to defer to them to see. I know they do wait, and it can be extensive at sometimes, but they do it on a case by case basis. When they make the appointment for you, they gather the information and try to find the right school escort. And that would be, you'd have to give them that criteria, and they would make that decision. But they are pretty flexible. I can tell you that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, great. So we had a question come in. Okay, so one of the things I learned from Metro Access is that if you have regular rides scheduled, there is more chances that it will work well and on time. So is it a good idea to have a regular schedule for using Metro Access? Is this correct?
I would say yes, I would say yes, it is a good idea to have a regular schedule if you're using Metro Access. However, I think I would say yes. I would say yes.
Okay, yes.
Mhm.
Is there anybody have any follow-up questions or want to ask a question? You can raise your hand. All right, let me see. All right, Sharon might want to.
Just wanted to mention that with his Metro Access card, my son has a companion card.
Oh, yes.
So he does not have to ride the Metro alone. He can have an aide or a family member accompany
Right.
him at no
Right.
charge.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. That's an excellent point.
And I also wanted to share that a few people said, so Trisha said generally if you have a subscription, rides tend to be more regular, but it doesn't work 100% of the time. The subscription office for Metro Access has some of the best employees. And then it also says my son uses Metro Access 5 days a week to get to his program. He often has the same driver, which is great. However, the pickup and drop off times are frequently not within the 30-minute window. So, it seems like, there are definitely pros and cons.
Yeah, there are a lot of Metro Access questions. And, I would suggest, Melissa, and I can give you, I have to shoot you an email though, because I can't think of the number of, I have a very good contact at Metro Access who does travel training and is very knowledgeable. And I'm sure she would be happy to help you if you want to use her for, at some point for one of your monthly calls.
Yeah, no,
You have a lot of Metro Access questions. And, she's very good at getting the information out, and I'm sure she would do that, so I would be glad to share that with you.
Yeah, that would be great. So one of the other questions was, how do you get the companion card?
Well, when Metro Access, they determine that that's how you have a lot of Metro Access questions, which are really WMATA questions, but I'm attempting to answer them. I hope I'm giving you good answers, but what you definitely get those when they qualify you or certify you, that's when that would come into play. So
Okay.
they would determine if the companion would be appropriate.
Okay, great. So do we have any other questions? So they were saying throughout the years, can a company apply for a companion card for the SAs they work with?
I'm not to my knowledge, but that is another WMATA question, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
It goes with the individual. It's with the individual. It's associated with the individual. not with, the company. So the individual would have to qualify and they get a companion card. And then the MSA could use that, but no, I'm pretty sure no for that one.
Okay, great. And that would be great too with the contact, because we love to,
Yeah,
you
she
know,
would be able to clarify everything for me.
yes. It says the Metro Access meetings are usually downtown on a weeknight, but it seems like they do have it. And we can always advocate for improvement. So, yeah, so that is great. So thank you so much, Denise. I just wanted to say that we have thank you everyone for coming. We have transition times next month. We're really excited. We actually have Michael Dalto coming, and he is coming for a Q&A. So there's many times that we've had Michael Dalto come for SSI and SSDI, but we don't have enough time for questions. And so this is the session to sign up for, because we have really an hour set aside for time to ask questions. So just Social Security rules and procedures can be very complicated and confusing. And to make matters worse, if you ask different Social Security workers the same question, you may receive different answers. Here's your opportunity to get correct answers to all your questions about Social Security from a specialist with 35 years experience. So many of you have seen and heard Michael, and he is really great. So please come. All Social Security questions are fair game in this open forum. And please join us on Wednesday, May 22nd from 7 to 8 for this open forum with Michael Dalto from High Note Consulting. So thank you again, Denise, and we look forward to seeing everyone next month.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, take care.